Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to do some baking, but before we get to the recipe, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and click on the bell to get notifications for upcoming videos. I do post weekly, so y'all don't want to miss out on any of those. And then also, once you watch this, I hope you give me a thumbs up on this recipe and any others that you watch of mine. I would greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to make a chocolate cake roll. Now this is a delicious recipe. There are several ingredients and several steps, and then I will have the exact ingredients and the instructions under the video, so you don't have to worry about writing them down right now. Now you're going to want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're going to prepare a 10 by 15 jelly roll pan that has sides. You're going to want to spray the pan and then put down parchment paper or wax paper, and then also spray the top because we don't want the cake to stick to this. Now I went ahead and I took some baker's chocolate and some butter, and I melted it in the microwave just to save some time. And then what you're going to do is just stir it to make sure that the chocolate gets completely melted, and then we're going to add just some white sugar to this, and then we're just going to stir this, and we're going to leave this sit over here for a minute until we do the next step of this. This is a nice easy recipe. I mean, there are several steps, but it's really not difficult to put together. All right, we're going to let that sit to the side. Now I've got some large eggs in our bowl, and we're going to want to whisk these until they're all just a nicer, thicker texture. And then we're going to add in some flour and some baking soda and some water. And then we're going to add in our chocolate mixture into this as well. And this will be like the first part of this cake. All right, we're going to go ahead. Now I went ahead and I divided my flour, and I went ahead and put my baking soda in with the first grouping of the flour, and you're going to go ahead and put that in, and then you're going to want to whisk that. You also may want to have a spatula on hand, of course, to scrape the sides down, because you want to make sure all this gets in your mixture. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to add in this chocolate mixture in with this. All right, make sure I get this mixed in good. All right, let's go ahead and put our chocolate mixture in. All right, and we're going to make sure you stir this until it's all mixed in well. And then we're going to alternate the next thing, which is going to be flour and water. So you're going to add a little flour, then you're going to add a little water, and so forth until we get it all incorporated into this batter. All right, so let's go ahead and start adding a little bit of our flour. Mix that up. Let's go ahead and put some of the water in. And then we're going to mix this good. And then we're going to keep on doing that until we get all of our flour and our water in our batter. You might have to do this several times. And then what we're going to do next, once we get all this mixed up really well, is we're going to pour this onto our prepared jelly roll pan. And we're going to put it in our oven and bake it for about 15 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and get the rest of the flour and the water in. And get this mixed up good. This is a delicious moist cake that would be really nice to serve if you have some people over for dinner or you're having a family dinner. I think everybody that likes chocolate should really like this recipe. It's really a good recipe to try. And it's pretty to look at too. All right, I'm gonna make sure I get all my flour down in my bowl. And we should be about ready to go to put it on our sheet. All right. Now, let me move this out of the way and move our cookie sheet back. Now, this batter is a little runny, which is fine. That's how it should be. So it should pour really easily into your pan. All right, let's go ahead and pour this in to our prepared jelly roll pan. You just want to make sure you try to get it as evenly as possible. As you can see, it's kind of already filling in nicely. Use your spatula to get it all out of your bowl. You don't want to miss any of that. Now, like I said, we're going to go ahead and put this in our preheated 350-degree oven. We're going to try it for 15 minutes, depending on how quickly your oven bakes. And then you're going to test it by if the batter springs back, if the cake's done. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, and then we'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, y'all, as you can see, we've got our cake out of the oven. The next step you're going to do is have a tea towel laid out, and also if you have a wire rack, go ahead and have that out on your counter, because once we get this cake out of the pan and onto the tea towel and rolled up, we're going to let it cool down on the wire rack for a little while until it's completely cooled, and then we're going to do the filling for it. But right now, if you have a sifter, you're going to take about 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. And just go ahead and pour that in your sifter. And then you're just going to sift it all over your cake. And this will just help it from sticking to your tea towel. Because once we get this on here, we're going to invert it onto the tea towel, and then we're going to roll it up. And like I said, we're going to let it sit and cool down completely before we do our filling. And you just sift it just all over. All right. Now, since this pan is still warm, you want to have some oven mitts. That way, when you flip it over, you don't burn your fingers. All right, let's go ahead and set this to the side. You may not need that full 1/4 cup, but just close to it. Now, have your tea towel ready. And then you're just going to take your cake and you're going to flip it on here, like so. And let's see if I can lift this pan up with my fingernail so I don't. And there you go. All right, now you're going to carefully peel off parchment paper. Well, that came off pretty good. Okay, now you're going to want to take your tea towel, fold it over, because we're going to slowly roll this cake like so. Just gently do it, because the cake is still very warm. All right. And then, like I said, have your rack handy. And we're just going to lay it on here, and we're going to let this cool down probably for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how we do the filling on this. All right, y'all, we've got our cake cooled down, and now we're going to make our filling, which is going to be 1/2 of a block of cream cheese. You're going to want to soften it or get it to room temperature. And then it's going to be 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. Just going to whisk those together or mix those together. I want to stick in my whisk. All right, and then we're going to add in some Cool Whip, and this is about 1.5 cups. This is just going to make this icing really fluffy and really a nice mixture for the filling for this. Now, while I was doing that, I went ahead and made the ganache, because you want it to cool down for a couple minutes before you actually top the cake with the ganache. So basically all that is just a couple of squares of your baker's chocolate melted with some Cool Whip. And like I said, I will have all these exact ingredients under the video once we get it finished. All right, I'm just gonna fold this in, and then we're gonna spread this on the cake. Now, as you can see, I do have some cracks in my cake. That's fine, you don't have to panic if that happens, because this filling and then the ganache is gonna cover any of that, so don't worry that it's not perfect. I mean, you know, it just doesn't always turn out perfect every time, and like I said, it's not gonna be a big deal because you're gonna cover it up with this icing and then this ganache. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna fill this cake. Let's move our stuff out of the way. You wanna have a nice platter handy to serve it on. Let me just get this closer to me. All right, and you're just gonna dollop this on the cake, and you wanna spread it out all over the cake as evenly as possible. And we're going to carefully roll it back up, and then you're going to put your seam side down on your platter or your plate, whatever you have handy. And then we're going to put the ganache over the top. Now once we have it all completed, you're going to want to refrigerate this for at least an hour before you serve it to your guests or your family. So there's always that. All right, let me get this a little bit up off of the counter because I just washed these. We don't want to waste any of that. Okay, just take a spatula and you're just gonna smooth it over the top. Like I said, you want to try to get it over the whole cake as much as you can. You can leave a little room on one of the ends of this because when you roll it, you don't want it to come out. So I'm gonna leave a little room on the that back end there furthest from me. This is gonna be a delicious cake. I think everybody who likes chocolate will enjoy this. I know we're going to today. All right. It's not wanting to spread real even, but just try to do the best you can. Once it's rolled up, you won't see all this anyway. Okay, I'm gonna put some over here. All right, now we're gonna carefully roll this back up. Now you can use your tea towel as an aid if you need to. I'm gonna try without it. So let me just go ahead and roll it. Like I said, it is gonna, if it has some cracks, it's fine, because like I said, once this ganache goes on top, you're not gonna see that. Now, if you don't wanna add the ganache to it, you can just leave, you know, the powdered sugar, which is on here from before. And then we're gonna add this ganache to the top of this. And as you can see, our chocolate is melted in with our Cool Whip. I'm just gonna give it another stir before I put it on the top of this cake. And we're just gonna pour it over. And then you can use your spatula to spread it out, or you can kind of just leave it drizzle over there. That just depends on how y'all want to do it. There you have your chocolate rolled cake. I think this is going to be delicious. I think y'all will really enjoy this recipe. If you like chocolate, this is a really chocolatey dessert. Y'all need to try it. Let me know how you like it. And I hope that y'all will subscribe to my channel and click on the bell for notifications for any upcoming videos. Like I said, I do post every week, so don't miss out on any of that. And give me a thumbs up, please. And y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching.